know, when we started off at Wheathill and we went past Mary Webb's house, I learned something about this place after I booked it. The film of Gone to Earth, this courtyard that we're in now was one of the set locations. They filmed courtyard scenes of the squire on his horse in this courtyard where we're standing now.
That's quite cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this was a really old pub.
So Jenny Jones was here.
Jennifer Jones, brilliant.
Yeah. So I remember from the 2012 Olympics the little mascot characters Wenlock and Mandeville, and Wenlock comes from the Olympic movement starting here, and Mandeville was for the Paralympics.
I just know that because my dad used to work in the school, which is William Brooks School, and William Penny Brooks was the GP who in 1850 was advocating for more physical exercise, and so they created a kind of mini Olympic Games, and then went on to be held at the Crystal Palace, where it had 10,000 people attending, watching. So it was kind of a prototype, I guess, for the modern Olympics. It was a catalyst, is a good way of putting it. And it's really interesting to think that it came from one person in this sleepy little village behind us in South Shropshire.
We just did a little diversion to have a look at the Priory of Much Wenlock. It's an English heritage site, and it's £9 each to get in. We're not paying that.
We're going past the old station house, so
Okay.
it must have been on the train line.
So plans really had to be adjusted for two reasons. Every leg of what's published in that guidebook seems to be 2 miles longer than he actually says it is, without getting lost. The other thing is, it has been a really, really, really hot week. That's the station house. That must be the railway line mall down there. First information board that we came to told us something very interesting, didn't it?
Yeah, it told us that was the site of the first Olympics, which was held here in Much Wenlock, and it told us a little bit about the kind of activities that they did, which was
Wheelbarrow race.
Yeah, included wheelbarrow racing, which obviously they've taken out of the Olympics.
Jingling match.
Jingling, whatever that is, and a bit of football.
It did mention football, and quoits, whatever quoits is.
Cricket.
Cricket,
yeah.
Foot races.
And leaping.
And leaping, height and distance. So it hasn't changed all that much.
I think they should bring back the wheelbarrow races.
So this is the railway track we're now walking along. Another tree is a good way marker. Oak, do you reckon, Moll? So we're just walking now through a little hamlet called Wyke, and visually it's absolutely lovely except for one thing. It's just covered in signposts about criminals beware and you are being watched and things like that. But there's so much of that signage, it actually ruins the aesthetics of the place.
What it doesn't have is any sense of community. It's a bit soulless. The only sense of community that seems to be going on is like wanting to watch out and, oh, there's another dog, attack walkers.
I've noticed something walking along this section. We were in that Wheathill place and the countryside is just empty. The countryside is going to continue emptying of people, ordinary people that can't afford to live there anymore because of the price of houses. So that means we're on a trajectory where unless the boundaries change or actually our voting system changes, less and less people are going to be dictating who actually sits in Parliament, who actually is our government, is our Prime Minister. That's going to fall into gradually less and less hands, and it's going to fall into the hands of people with more and more wealth. So it's going to become a more and more select group of people who decide who's in charge of everybody. And that sounds like a complete backward step to me. That sounds really regressive. That's like going back to the time of Henry VIII. That was helpful. We're walking between the place where the Olympics started in much Wenlock and Ironbridge where the Industrial Revolution started. Eee, mud. I'm sort of relieved to see a bit of mud, to be honest, because it means there's some water.
When we were stopped at the stile back there was something that said, it's on the map as Cross Britain Way, something to do with Macmillan, but I don't really know what it is. Do you?
I do not know what it is. Not heard of it before.
Where do you think it goes?
East to west. Better alternative than using the Transpennine trains.
Yeah, get off and walk. You'll be there in 6 days.
Yeah.
With us, we haven't got a driver.
That's the one. Can you hear that?
Yep, it's a motorbike.
Motorbike, traffic, people buzzing about.
Dogs.
Apart from that very short section where we had to walk along the main road, that is the first time I've heard noise like that in 5 days.
Yeah.
It genuinely is.
True. We got used to the quiet and the birds and the cows.
It's been really peaceful. Really peaceful.
Yeah.
Well, there she is. That's what Ironbridge is named after. The icon, isn't it, of the Industrial Revolution and where it all started.
The bridge was built in 1779, and before that, to get across the river, they went across in those little boats, little round boats. What are they called?
Coracles.
That's it, the coracles, yeah, because I think there's a pub in Shrewsbury named after them. And they still have a little boat race in those as well. Interesting feelings about the Ironbridge because, yeah, in a way, I feel quite a sense of pride, you know, that the Industrial Revolution started here in sleepy old Shropshire. But at the same time, you know, it's also a bit sad because you think, because of that, you know, we went on to sort of dominate the world. If you think about slavery and everything that happened, it wouldn't have happened if they hadn't been able to build railways and the railway tracks, of course, which were built from iron, and all of the buildings as well. And then it was used in ships as well, wasn't it? At the height of the Industrial Revolution, it must have looked very different. I mean, we've seen pictures of it with the kilns burning. It must have been like a sort of vision of hell. I mean, imagine living here, the smell, the smoke, and it must be, in terms of pollution, it must have been awful.
But they thought just building higher and higher chimneys took the problem away, and
yeah, I guess.
Perhaps didn't realise that, you know, gravity means
whatever we churn out, it's not going to escape our atmosphere. It's going to stay here with us. And what you take away from one area by having a tall chimney just dumps it somewhere else. But they won't have known that then.
No,
but we do know it now.
Yes. So I guess we should not just come here and walk around and look at old buildings, but also think about the ramifications of the Industrial Revolution. I think Turner painted a picture, didn't he? Is it Turner? Turner got around. He got around everywhere. But there's a very famous picture of the kilns, and on fire at night, at the height of the Industrial Revolution. Completely different topic, but there's a famous pork pie shop here across the other side of the bridge. It's lunchtime. It's quite nice just to do a half day. So this is where we're going to finish. We're finishing our walk in Ironbridge. If you decide to finish here on the southern loop of the Shropshire Way, it's quite easy to get back to Shrewsbury on public transport because there are regular buses that run from here as well.
So that revolution happened. Do you think we will have the revolution that we need now?
What it says is that we're very capable, we're very brilliant, and the fact that all of this was invented and we created it presumably means we could also create a green revolution.
We should.
People keep talking about, but it's got to come from political will, hasn't it? I think it's definitely worth thinking about when you come to Ironbridge. You think about the brilliance of it all and what it led to.